Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And today, quite a bit different than yesterday and on Monday. Today, that low cloud deck all morning long. It did lift just slightly into our early afternoon, and you can just see glimpses of sunlight as we look back at our afternoon. And did see a little bit of sun in parts of north central Washington, but this is a beautiful shot looking back at Turtle Rock from a Rondo Rock in our Sky-Fi Tower camera. Expect more of that, more clouds, and then some changes as we move in. Not so much during the day tomorrow, but Thursday night. Dry tomorrow. We'll see cold mornings. Once again, expect temperatures in the 20s, and we'll see our chance for precipitation go up, especially Thursday night. I think we'll see about a 60% chance of snow showers overnight on Thursday, snow in the morning on Friday, and then rain showers throughout the rest of our Friday, and then some unsettled weather into the upcoming weekend. We'll talk more about that and your forecast, of course, for Super Bowl Sunday coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Vehicular homicide charges are being filed against a Quincy woman in connection with the fatal crash that occurred last summer. And the state legislature is considering 4 new gun control laws this session that would be in addition to I-1639. We'll have reaction from Senator Brad Hawkins. But first, we begin tonight. A group of homeowners has filed the second court appeal of the approval of the Black Rock Terrace subdivision. Earlier this week in Chelan County Superior Court, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife objected to the city hearing examiner's approval of the 17-home, 13-acre subdivision. While the state focused on its concerns about mule deer habitat in the Wenatchee foothills, the homeowners also say hearings examiner Andy Kotkamp, quote, ignored the public as well as the city's own comprehensive plan and zoning codes, unquote. That according to Suzanne Hartman, one of 12 petitioners on the filing. Other concerns raised by the homeowners were the impact on views of the foothills, erosion and landslide hazards, as well as wildfire risks, traffic, and pedestrian safety. Steve and Tanya Tramp, the property owners, hope to begin the development this spring. Vehicular homicide charges are being filed against a Quincy woman in connection with the fatal crash that occurred last summer. The Columbia Basin Herald reports the driver of the vehicle, 49-year-old Angela Anaya, appeared in court this week to hear the charges against her. The June 3rd accident on Road P Northwest resulted in the death of Jose Lozano. Authorities say Anaya's Cadillac was traveling at about 100 miles an hour when it crashed and rolled over in a nearby field. Lozano was ejected from that vehicle. Law enforcement reportedly spent 3 hours searching for the vehicle, which was located about 15 miles from where Anaya said the accident happened. Bail has been set at $15,000. The state legislature is considering 4 new gun control laws this session that would be in addition to I-1639, approved in November by voters. The legislation covers everything from limiting magazine sizes to banning guns from 3D printers. State Senator Brad Hawkins said people in the 12th District have been vocal about their concerns about further gun control laws.
As far as my perspective on those bills, I haven't studied them closely, although I've received a significant amount of correspondence from constituents back home who are concerned about an undermining of their Second Amendment constitutional rights. And I am a supporter of those rights. And so I do not want any piece of legislation coming before the Senate that would undermine one's Second Amendment constitutional rights, their right to bear arms. I do believe that those shall not be infringed upon, as our Constitution states. And so I will be looking at those bills closely if they do advance out of their committee to understand what they're trying to do and to see if there are reasonable steps we could do in some pieces of legislation that don't compromise those rights.
Coming up next, Thursday night at 7 o'clock, the Eastmont School District will host a drug education and prevention discussion. We'll get a preview from Eastmont Superintendent Garn Christensen. And an Eastern Washington lawmaker has unveiled legislation that would create a wolf sanctuary on Bainbridge Island. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Arctic Refrigeration and Heating has been serving North Central Washington for 34 years. Arctic provides the finest heating and cooling air quality products for residential and commercial customers, along with prompt and professional customer service. Arctic also offers specialty services like custom sheet metal fabrication of ductwork, coil cleaning, as well as planned fall and spring maintenance for the overall well-being of your system. Arctic is available for emergency calls 24/7. Call Arctic Refrigeration and Heating for your heating and cooling needs.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now. Thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Hey everyone, so today I'm tackling Medical Assistant Ninja, trying to get that next level career. Man, this dead-end job is holding me back. Decision time, I'm going Charter College. Now I'm a medical assistant student. Rocking it? Yeah, earned the President's Award. Score! Took my career to the next level. Hey, I can level up to Medical Assistant Ninja, so can you. Get on it.
Welcome back. In another news, Thursday night at 7 o'clock, the Eastmont School District will host a drug education and prevention discussion. The meeting comes after an incident earlier this month in which 2 Eastmont Junior High School students were sent to the hospital with reactions after eating THC-infused candy at school. In an earlier interview with NCWLIFE News, Eastmont Superintendent Garn Christensen says the legalization of marijuana in Washington state and the wide variety of drug products now available have all played a role in the increase of drugs in public schools.
I know that since we've had legalization of marijuana, we've had different types of substances coming into our school than we've seen. As long as I've been involved with public schools at the secondary level, there's been experimentation with both drugs and alcohol at that level, and we've always had to be very involved with supervision, checking students to see if they're under the influence. Since legalization, I think it's made it more readily available in homes, more out in the open, and then the different edibles that are coming in are much harder to detect. The smell of marijuana is a very specific smell. Once you get trained on what that smells like, it's easy to note where the edibles are not. And some of the edibles, there's videos out you can look, and they look like a regular piece of chocolate or gummy bear. You couldn't tell the difference. We are doing a parent information night. That will be, I think it's January 30th, 7 o'clock at our high school. Our drug and alcohol counselor will be leading that. And we're also inviting local law enforcement agencies to participate.
So what's the message to parents out there with regard to this?
You know, I think the message to parents would be the same as with any other substances in your home, whether it's prescription drugs or alcohol. If you have those products, you need to keep them secured. You know, young people are curious. That's human nature. They want to try these different things. They're not old enough. It's illegal. And you know, one of the worst things that can happen is, I think being a teenager is stressful, always has been. Part of the Eastmont model is we have a very strong disciplinary action. We go to a 90-day long-term suspension immediately for any drug or alcohol use, which is very severe. Yet if a student agrees to go through a counseling intervention, meaning they sit down with the student, and try to determine, was this the first use, or is this a daily user, or is this student using substances throughout the day? And if they agree, that immediately gets shortened to 10 days. If they come in with what we call a group of caring adults, that could be grandparents, other relatives, a pastor, a neighbor, they can get it further reduced to 5 days if that group commits to help get this student to graduation. We've had good success with that model. We continue to refine it, and our hope is that we'll avoid this situation in the future, but we do need parents to do everything they can to keep those products out of the hands of young people.
Once again, that meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Eastmont High School. Well, an Eastern Washington lawmaker has unveiled legislation that would create a wolf sanctuary on Bainbridge Island. NCWLIFE Steve Hare reports.
7th District Representative Joel Kretz's bill is in direct response to a measure proposed by a Bainbridge Island legislator that would completely ban the lethal removal of gray wolves. Kretz, who owns a horse ranch in Ferry County, has been outspoken in his criticism of wolf reintroduction into Washington state. He said his bill, HB 1639, seeks to ease some of the burden and turmoil his constituents are dealing with as they experience the effects of full-blown wolf recovery firsthand. Kretz complains that a measure authored by Representative Sherry Appleton of Bainbridge Island lacks understanding of or knowledge of apex predators and their threat to livestock and humans in his region. The Wakanda horse rancher says his bill would create the state's first gray wolf sanctuary. HB 1639 also provides guidance on when the state may use lethal removal of wolves on Bainbridge Island, specifically limiting such removal, in the words of the bill, only after 4 dogs, 4 cats, or 2 children have been killed, end quote. The bill is currently in the House Rural Development, Agriculture, and Natural Resources Committee. Steve Hare, NCWLIFE News.
You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's features story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Stay with us.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Dear Merry Maids, please clean the kitchen, and the cabinets, and floors, and the chairs. And I wish you could clean the dog. Colin is now feeding himself. Thanks, Megan.
Hi, Megan. No worries. We got it all cleaned up. Let's hope Colin gets past the spaghetti flinging stage soon. Till then, we've got you covered. See you next time. Merry Maids.
Hi, Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. When you think of Alpine Air in Wenatchee, think of professional, friendly customer service for all your heating and cooling needs. Alpine Air partners with Carrier, manufacturers of some of the best heating and air conditioning equipment available today. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Visit our store in Wenatchee, meet our people, see our shop. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Eyeing a move to the old station area to consolidate its headquarters and facilities, the Chelan PUD could vacate a significant piece of property in downtown Wenatchee. A maker's space, tech incubators, and a residential campus. In tonight's feature story, Chelan Port Commissioner Rory Turner admits while he's just dreaming big at this point, teams are beginning to look at what could be done with that downtown property.
I haven't been so excited about a project in a long time. I am uber positive about the opportunities that exist at 5th and Wenatchee. You've got a site that is, I think it's 8 acres or something like that. The PUD, the city, and the port have combined resources and funds, and I think we funded $225,000 worth of capital and hired through a process a firm to help advise what the highest and best use is of the project. Initially, when we first started talking with the PUD about their interest in Old Station, the subject always kept coming back to, well, what's going to happen to downtown? Because to provide really good leadership for this county, we need to look at, what do we have to backfill? I mean, this is an issue. We don't want to razor wire this and demo it. What's it going to be? So initially, we went through some design, and we put a design team together, and this is very informal. It wasn't a lot of money. Hired a local architect. Got some people from the PUD, got some other local folks, sort of an advisory committee, and sat down. And at that point, I think it was great. It was basically to take it and make it into a multi-use complex. And by that I mean, I think we sort of coined the term live, work, create. So a big component would be residential. I think, and this is this is Rory Turner talking. Okay, this is not what's going to happen yet. We're paying people to really do this. But during these last 2 years, my thoughts have been to take the existing headquarters, particularly the offices that face Wenatchee, and hopefully try to convert those to more of a, I would call it workforce housing. I think there's a way to do it with the depth. They're solid buildings, and these would be smaller, sort of fully serviced units, but more affordable for the for students, for people that want to live here, but don't want 3 bedrooms, 2-car garage, and a big yard. Perhaps between the two, you could accommodate, between the new building and retroing the old, 100, 150 units total. I mean, it'd be a huge impact. Nothing this large has been built in downtown Wenatchee in a long time. So I see that as a great potential. And the one thing that I don't think you should do is renovate a bunch of office space and put 100,000 square feet of office space, vacant office space, for lease in downtown Wenatchee. I don't think that works. I just don't think that that's prudent. I'm sort of on record as saying I want to see this as having the greatest impact or equal impact that PIBUS has had on our community, which to me is just a home run that we've been able to benefit from, and the Walkers are just phenomenal folks. Got to tip my hat to them. They're just wonderful. What would it be like if we didn't have PIBUS now? You have to ask that question. But to me, this 8-acre piece, this is fun. This is where the opportunities really, really start popping out.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. But as always, before we get to those details, let's take a look outside our weather window. And today, a lot different scenario than we've seen the past 3 days. Boy, Sunday was nice, Monday and yesterday. But today, this is what we were stuck with, that low cloud deck once again. It just wouldn't lift throughout the afternoon, and that really kept our temperatures down as we look back at Turtle Rock. And that's from our Rondo Rock Sky-Fi tower camera. Thank you to Sky-Fi for that. But yeah, that was our scenario today. And as I mentioned, it was a cool one. In fact, we were well below normal for high temperatures today. 30 our high temperature. We started off at 25 and just didn't climb that much today. 38 is now our normal high temperature. 26 is our normal low. Record high, a beautiful day back in 1989 at 58 degrees. Our record low, a cold one of the coldest temperatures I've seen in a while. In 1996, it was 12 below zero. Still at 0.83 inches of precipitation for the year here in the Wenatchee area. Sunrise this morning was at 7:29. Sunset this afternoon right at 5 o'clock now. Let's take a look at what everyone is talking about around the country, and that is this polar vortex of cold air that's coming down through the central part of the United States. This pinkish purple area is just frigidly bitter cold air, and even the outer band, the lighter blues, also very cold temperatures. 40 cities in the Midwest and Upper Plains could set record low temperatures overnight tonight. This is one of the coldest polar vortexes and colder air masses that we've seen in almost 3 decades throughout the central part of the United States. Some of the temperatures in those areas just unbelievably cold. In fact, we're talking 52 below in some of the locations around Minnesota, as well as the Chicago area, with wind chills around 50 below zero throughout the day today. Here, a look at some of those temperatures: 49 below up in Fargo, North Dakota, even back into Montana, 17 below zero in eastern Montana for Glasgow, Montana. But look how far down south that extends, even the upper teens as far south as Georgia, Louisiana, and Alabama. Not quite that cold here. Let's take a look at our satellite loop and show you what we can expect over the next 6-7 days. Tonight at 10 o'clock, patchy fog will develop for us. We will see another chilly overnight low tonight, but more fog is a possibility as we make our way into Thursday morning. But lots of clear skies. Other than that fog, really no weather systems. But this system on Thursday will begin to creep a little bit closer to the Pacific Northwest. Once again, we'll start off with a little fog in the morning, then mostly cloudy skies tomorrow afternoon, and then things begin to change. Overnight on Thursday, we have a 60% chance for snow. That goes up to 80% chance on Friday morning as that system does push across Washington State. As we progress through Friday, I think we'll warm up just enough where that'll change over to kind of a rain-snow mix. And by 8 o'clock Friday night, I think that's what we can expect, a 60% chance of some scattered rain-snow showers in the Wenatchee area. Not a whole lot better for our weekend. On Saturday, it will be a little bit warmer with highs in the 40s, but once again, some morning fog turning partly cloudy in the afternoon. Still a slight chance for maybe a sprinkle or two, but look at all of this instability around the western United States. Here's your Super Bowl Sunday forecast. Cloudy, a 30% chance for a rain-snow mix. That will be mainly in the afternoon and kind of on and off showers throughout the day. But boy, the entire West, just a mess, especially snow along the Rockies that extends all the way down to northern New Mexico. Mostly sunny for your Monday and much cooler too. You can see a bow in our isobars, and that means some colder air will slide down, and that is going to keep us very cool on Monday. Folks, we're talking low temperatures in the upper teens. Let's take a look now at that quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight, 27 degrees our overnight low. 37 tomorrow. Once again, a 60% chance for snow. That'll mainly be overnight, Thursday night into our Friday, and then an even better chance for a rain-snow mix during the day on Friday, and 38. 41, our high temperature on Saturday with partly cloudy skies. As we move into Super Bowl Sunday, cloudy skies, a 30% chance for a rain-snow mix. And Monday and Tuesday, mostly sunny, but you know what? It's not going to matter much. It's going to be cold out there. 33 Monday, 31 Tuesday, with lows in the mid to upper teens. And that's a look at your local forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Are you watching me? If you're watching me and you are a business owner in North Central Washington, your potential customers could be seeing your TV commercial right now. With Solion Broadcasting, TV advertising is effective and affordable. Place your ads on the network best suited to your potential customers, or get top-of-mind awareness with 16 cable networks, including NCWLIFE, your local TV channel. Give Solion Broadcasting a call at 888-2020 today to see how easy and affordable it is to advertise on TV.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy hump day to you. The Wenatchee Wild will try to snap a 4-game losing streak on the road in Merritt tonight. The Wild and Centennials will drop the puck at Nicola Valley Memorial Arena at 7 o'clock. Wenatchee's last win, January 18th against Trail at home. Since then, they've fallen to Trail, Merritt, Langley, and Chilliwack, with 3 of their past 6 games being decided in a shootout. Following tonight, the Wild will be at first place Penticton Friday at 7 to battle the V's. That'll be at the South Okanagan Events Center. Wenatchee returns home on Saturday to face the Vernon Vipers. It's also the 11th annual Guns and Hoses Night at the Town Toyota Center. Saturday, a celebration of first responders. The Fire versus Police hockey game starts at 5, so that means the doors will open at the Town Toyota Center at 4:30. Specialty jerseys will be worn by Wild players during the game, with an auction of the jerseys afterwards.
And go to WenatcheeWildHockey.com if you want more information, or you can get your tickets at the Town Toyota Center box office. On the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard from last night, first of all, in girls basketball, Cashmere had no trouble defending its home floor with a 72-19 win over Okanagan. Bulldogs have now won 39 straight Caribou Trail League games dating back to 2016. In fact, last time Cashmere lost a league game was January 26, 2016, in a 66-65 loss to Chelan. The Lady Bulldogs will try to continue that streak with the final game tomorrow night at Chelan. By the way, Cashmere has also now strung together 6 consecutive regular season league titles. Congratulations to the Bulldogs. Also last night, it was Entiat getting past Pateras 53-45, and Manson edged Tonasket 36-34. On the Les Schwab Prep scoreboard in boys basketball last night, the Cashmere boys put together a great night, downing Okanagan 75-65. A win in the Bulldogs' final game of the season at Cascade tomorrow would mean a regular season league title, since Cashmere holds the 2-1 edge head-to-head over Okanagan on the season. Also in 2 close ones last night, it was Pateras topping Entiat 54-52 and Manson squeaked by Tonasket 62-60. Coming up tonight on the schedule, a very special evening at Eastmont High School. It's the final unified basketball game of the year. Eastmont plays host to Wenatchee. They'll tip it up at Eastmont High School tonight, coming up at 7 o'clock. Well, taking a look ahead for local bowlers heading to the WIAA State Championships at Narrows Plaza Bowl. That's in University Place, not too far from Tacoma. Eastmont and Wenatchee head over Friday to try to keep the state championship right here in the Valley. The Wildcats are the 2-time defending champs, winning it in 2017 and 2018. Prior to that, in 2016, Wenatchee won the title by 25 pins over Evergreen of Vancouver. There are 66 individual bowlers and 8 teams participating at the state tournament on Friday and Saturday. The ladies will begin competition Friday at 12:30 with the first of 6 regular games. Then they'll announce the individual medalists. Then on Saturday, the first of 14 Bakers begins at 10 o'clock in the morning. We should know a state team champion by about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. Now, representing Eastmont are Alicia Hastings, Brittany Hastings, Colby Hull, Daylin Thomas, Megan Lindell, Samantha Heintz, and Sky Wilson. Representing Wenatchee, Emily Groff, Hannah Johnson, Holly Shipley, Jaden Thompson, Jessica Holbrook, Kyla Hankins, and Maddie Monroe. Best of luck to the ladies at the State Bowling Championships coming up on Friday and Saturday. Also on tap tonight, if you have not been paying attention to the Pac-12 yet in men's college basketball, the Washington Huskies have won 9 straight games and are atop the Pac-12 standings with a perfect 7-0 mark. They'll host USC tonight. That'll tip up at 8 o'clock on FS1. Now, prior to that, at 7 o'clock, the Washington State Cougars will host UCLA, that one on the Pac-12 network. And speaking of hot teams, we have one of our own right here in the Wenatchee Valley. That's right, the Wenatchee Valley Lady Knights college basketball team, 8-0 in league play, and are currently on a 15-game winning streak. They'll take their 19-2 overall record into Walla Walla tonight for a game at 5:30 to try to make it 16 straight victories. Best of luck to the Lady Knights. That's sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Grant, back to you.
Thanks, Eric. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCWLIFE channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
NCWLIFE channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station.
Hey there, Wenatchee. Wenatchee, I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCWLIFE community calendar at ncwlife.com.